Hi everyone, welcome to EADDY'S Craft Room. I'm Hannah Catherine Smith. Now, when I started this channel, I wanted to document many of the different crafts that I love. And most of my videos have been attributed to primarily quilting. Believe it or not, my first video was actually card making, but then I really found my niche with quilting, found such a robust community with the craft, and really channeled everything into that. And it's been so fun, and I continue to do that. But I also wanted to pay homage to my other crafts that I love so much, and one of those is cross-stitching. Now, I was actually introduced to cross-stitching through YouTube, so with that, I thought I would make my very first floss tube. I've held off on making floss tubes in the past because I like the really big projects that take a long time. So although this will likely be a regular series on my channel, they are not going to be frequent. I won't have that many updates. I want to keep my whips to as minimal as possible with cross-stitching, just because the pieces that I want to make are pieces that take a year plus, and I don't need so many of those sitting around my very small apartment. So without further ado, let's jump into my cross-stitch works in progress. First up is the 2021 Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. Now, I did not start this in 2021, but it has been going on for about 2 years. I am loving this gorgeous piece. I thought it was just a beautiful heirloom piece that I wanted displayed in my home and maybe in future generations' homes as well. I loved how Jacob, the owner of Modern Folk Embroidery, used the blues in his sample, so I decided I was going to do them as well. The floss that I'm using is dark blue DMC 3750 and light blue DMC 932. I loved this piece just because there were only 2 colors you needed to pick, and of course the blue spoke to me on the white background. But it ended up being just the perfect project, and using DMC made it also very budget friendly, especially when I look at how much time I've spent on it and how much time I still have to go. Now, I'm stitching 2/2 on 32 count linen. There are 47,392 crosses in this piece, so it is definitely a big one. I have no idea when I'm going to finish this, and I'm not putting a deadline on it. I just want to enjoy every stitch, and so that's the way it's going to be. So I hope you love it as much as I do. My next whip is All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna Designs. Now, I believe I saw Lori Holt stitching this. I think it was one of her Sabbath stitches, and I thought it was just so beautiful, so cute. And to be honest, this is not an announcement, but when I saw it, I thought that would be beautiful in a nursery. So I decided to start working on it now with the hopes that one day, probably years in the future, it could be displayed there. What a cute thing for just a little baby to have over their crib. Now, I am stitching on 40 count vintage country mocha linen from Zweigart, and I'm stitching 1/2, which was a first for me. So those holes are real small. That 40 count has definitely been a challenge, and even the 1/2 has as well, but it's been a lot of fun. And although I have just a small start on it, I'm excited to see this one eventually come together because it is so meaningful. Actually, my fiance purchased it for me for our most recent dating anniversary of how long we've been together, and I did tell him my eventual plans for this piece, so he thought that was meaningful and was happy to get the whole kit for me, which was really exciting. Now, this piece is 317 by 248 stitches, so it's another big one. I warned you. And I am using all of the called for anchor stranded cotton in this gorgeous piece. Last but certainly not least is Big City Christmas by Cottage Needleworks. When I saw this piece about a year ago on the Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube, I loved it. We've talked before about how I'm not super into seasonal pieces, but I feel like Christmas, like, how can you not be, right? This is just so gorgeous, and I think it will be an eventual gift for my future mother-in-law. She loves Christmas and lives in Maine, and it just gave me that small town cozy feel that reminds me of her and where she lives. And so I'm really excited to be finishing this. I did think that this would be something that I would have completed by Christmas of 2023. That was not the case, so I'm hoping Christmas of 2024 will be my year to finish and have it framed and gifted. Now, I am just using the called for Classic Colorworks and DMC, and I am stitching on one piece of fabric. So I am doing all of the little houses or buildings together on one long strip of fabric instead of doing the individual pieces that you could do. It's really up to you. So I thought that would be so pretty in like a welcoming piece in an entryway or a hallway, just to really make your guests and people in the home feel welcome and jolly during such a wonderful season. So thank you so much for joining me today for my first FlossTube. Let me know what you think about this. Is this something that you want to see more of, or maybe not so much? I'm really open to hearing your thoughts and making this channel something that's enjoyable for both of us to talk about all of the things that happen in our crafts rooms. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more videos from me and aren't subscribed already, I would so appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment. I answer every single one of them, and the community is just my favorite part about YouTube and the quilting community, the FlossTube community, and beyond. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.